Hi guys, welcome to the first in a series of tutorials on enemy artificial intelligence. So the first thing we're going to look at is creating a simple navigation mesh. What I've got here is a main character and a bad guy. All the bad guy does is he falls down, so he's got dynamic physics. The main character can move around and he can jump. What I've placed them on is a cube that I've flattened out into a floor. However, we are going to build some walls. Now, it's worth noting that when we build a navigational mesh, it's going to enable this guy to follow our player and work its way around the walls. However, the walls have to be part of this floor when we create the navigational mesh. They can't just be other cubes that we've turned into walls, otherwise it won't work. Also, it's worth noting, don't create a navigational mesh out of one cube for your entire level. Otherwise, you'll have all of the enemies at the end running right the way to the start of your game. So you have a massive fight at the beginning and the level has got nothing at the end. So create a series of these floors and sectors so that the bad guys will only sort of move about within them. Now, we could use a steering actuator just to make the bad guy follow this guy, but the problem is if we put a wall there, just like when you put a magnet under a desk and something metal on top, it's just going to collide with it and it's just going to rub up and down the wall while we sort of move around it. So a nav mesh is an intelligent way of moving around walls. So then we need to create some walls out of this floor. So the first thing we're going to do is select the floor, take it into edit mode. I'm going to press Control R to cut, and I'm going to cut it 30 times and click, and this side Control R and 30 times again. I'm then going to go into the surface mode and I'm going to select a range of these so that I can turn them into walls. Now, it's worth noting, guys, that you do need to leave a gap in between your walls, and if you don't leave a gap in between your walls, it's not going to work properly, this navigational mesh. So you, I'm sure, can create something much more creative than I just have. However, that's all I'm going to do for now. So I'm going to extrude them, and it's worth noting that your walls do need to be of a certain height in order for this to work. So I've created that. I can go back into object mode now, and I've got sort of a nice scene that I can run around. Using other tutorials, I could attach cameras onto myself and all that good stuff. I crash into the walls and I stop, which is nice, but we want to get the bad guy to follow us. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the floor and we're going to go into this icon here. It's a picture of the sun. It's got a blue cylinder and it looks like a sphere there as well, and we're going to open up the navigational mesh. Now, this is all of the parameters, so what you'll do is you'll look at the size of things that you've created and you will alter these so we can make a guy walk up certain angles and things like that. So we've got max climb angle, max slope. For now, I'm just going to leave it as it is with the floor selected, and I'm going to click build navigational mesh. Now, what you can see there is sort of like a multicolored area, and what you'll notice is it's left a gap around the walls. This means that your character will only chase the main player within these colored areas. It won't go right up to the walls, otherwise it could get stuck, so it's left a gap. If your wall is quite close to an edge, like this one, you'll notice it hasn't left a color section. So if your bad guy was going down this one, it would have to turn around and intelligently go around the wall in order to catch you, and it will do that automatically. Okay, what we need to do then is we're going to click on our character, and in future lessons we will look at ways of triggering your character to start coming towards you, but in this case we're going to make them always come towards you, and we'd label that normally. And all we're going to use is a steering actuator, a steering property actuator. If we just want this to come after our main character, we could leave it as seek, but again it would bang into walls. Instead, it's going to be path following. It's going to follow a path that we create, and we have created sort of like a path here. Our target object is obviously our player. I've had 2 players because I'm on the 2nd level, so I'm choosing the 2nd one. You might just have player 1. And what path do we want it to follow? Well, we want it to follow the nav mesh that we've just created. Now, we can name our nav mesh different things if we have multiple nav meshes, but for now, that's fine. So I'm going to turn on visualize and I'm going to show you. But before I do, don't forget to link up the sensor and the actuator. So if I press P, what you'll notice is a red line has been painted. And what it's doing is it's actually painting a red line between you and the bad guy. Now, if I start moving around here pretty quickly and I go around the other side of this wall, you'll notice that it constantly changes where the red line is. And it changes the red line in order to make the red line as short as possible. So if I'm going this way, it'll paint a red line this way. If I go this way, then this red line's getting longer than it would be if it went around this way. So a little bit like a satellite navigation in a car works, it takes the shortest route. I'm going to turn off visualize because I don't really want to see the red line. I just want the character, the bad guy, to sort of follow me around. You'll notice if I start catching it up, it actually turns around and goes the other way. That's because the red line is shorter if it goes back on itself than if it comes forward. What do the rest of the things do then quickly? Well, the velocity is how fast you want your character to move. So if I turn it down from 3 to 2, the bad guy is going to move even slower. All the rest of them are fairly obvious. We've got acceleration, we've got velocity, which is how fast it's going to go. How fast does it turn? Lots of different things. The way you can use this then, you can make it so that if the bad guy touches you, it obviously reduces your health or kills you maybe. You could make it so that there is, if you've looked at the projectiles tutorial, you could have a projectile on the front of him, so like a weapon, and it's constantly firing projectiles forward so that it's walking towards you and you've got sort of bullets coming towards you or arrows or whatever you're going to have in your game. If it's a game for children, it could be throwing stuff like coconuts or something like that. Really quite straightforward then, guys. So top tips from me, make sure that you don't just build one nav mesh for your entire level, otherwise you're going to have people coming for you all over the place. There is an exception to that rule. One of the students last year made sort of like a Call of Duty Zombies survival level where he got a huge level and just made a huge nav mesh and kept dropping in new zombies, and I'm going to show you how to randomly spawn enemies in a later tutorial. Awesomeness level, got to be at least 10,000 this, guys. Look at it, you've got artificial intelligence here. This is really going to bring your game to life. If you could maybe, instead of having a red cube, maybe you could have a character animation in there to get your character walking, getting your character doing something interesting. Awesome. I'm really excited to see what you guys can do with this. Go wild.